How you doing? Thanks for tuning in. I'm glad you're here. Today, in this video, we're going to talk about a new scan tool from Xtool D5S. Let's get into it. This is the latest and greatest scan tool for a do-it-yourselfer or a professional mechanic alike. A little bit about me. I've been doing this for over 40 years as a professional. Still doing it in the flat rate world in real life, not just making YouTube videos. I make these videos occasionally when I find a tool that I think helps me out, that I think will also help you out. This is a small little guy, but it's very capable. We're going to go through all of the features, and we're going to show you exactly what this thing can do to help you save time and money on your repair. First, we're going to attach the OBD2 cord. This goes into your ALDL. OBD2, 96 and newer vehicles. Any vehicle in the United States has to have this OBD2 port that lets you get in there, check codes, clear codes, and do some diagnosis. We're going to get this all hooked up, get it turned on. Shouldn't take long to boot up. We'll have to enter some information, set the time, let it know who's boss or who owns it. I might have to go into the shop to get some good Wi-Fi. I'll take this inside, we'll get the Wi-Fi connected, we'll get it listed online. You have to tell it that you own it, and that starts your subscription. I'm going to do that, and then we'll come back. This is a 2018 Chevy Cruze, and this is an Xtool D5S. I'm going to use it in some cars, show some of the things it can do. It's a very capable entry-level scan tool, I would call it. Above a code reader with some decent capabilities, and then after I make some videos on it, we'll give it away and someone will get it. So at the end of the video, if you want to leave a comment down below that and let me know you're interested in a tool like this, and I will put you in our giveaway drawing. I'm going to turn this key on. This car has a check engine light on. The earlier ones you press it twice, the newer ones you press it and hold it a long time. I'd rather not start the engine. I got to do an oil change on it too. There it is, the dash lights up, push button start. We're going to select auto scan, auto identification. Please wait, communication is being established. You would think after 20 or 30 seconds it would realize you had the door open on purpose, but I guess not. Oh, we've got a firmware update. The only glitch I've seen so far with this tool, I tried to log in with my existing Xtool account because I have another one of their scan tools, and I tried to log in with it, it wouldn't let me. So I said send me a password reset, and it sent me a password reset to my email, and when I tried to put it in, it wouldn't let me. It said the email doesn't exist. So I put the same email in and resubmitted it, and it let me put a new password in for this tool. I guess maybe it's because they're separate tools. Automatic detection. It is a touch screen, which I really like that. Automatic scan. Now it's going through all the modules it's allowed to talk to. No kickstand on it, but a lot of tools I've seen lately don't have a kickstand. I'm not sure why. And you know, that's a pet peeve of mine. But this is a very budget-friendly tool, so I wouldn't expect it to have wireless and a kickstand and all the other features that tools that are thousands of dollars cost. This is pretty economically priced, but it's still capable, and it's going to be great for someone who's a DIY or entry-level mechanic, or even as like a backup tool for a mechanic who has a scan tool at work and doesn't want to bring it back and forth to keep it home. Sometimes you end up helping a neighbor or relative from home, right? So what we've got here is airbag, brake module, transmission, and engine module. These are the four primary modules in every car. But what we'll do from this page is click this little red arrow, and it'll show us the code. Intake airflow system performance current P1101. From experience, that usually means the air filter is not installed correctly, or the air filter is dirty. Could be even something to do with the mass airflow sensor, which reads airflow. If it's not calculating right, it'll think there's something else wrong. So this tool should also let us clear DTCs. If you select that, you can clear them. DTC report, click on that. I want to see if, okay, this just shows you the report of all the codes. So if I had codes in multiple modules, they would all be listed right here. I'm going to look at data. We'll see how this thing performs looking at data. There's ECU information. This tells you about the computer it has. You can check software to see if the computer's been updated in the car. Read codes, clear codes, live data. Freeze frame data is When you have a code, you go into freeze frame data, it shows you when the code happened. View data. Now I can see last malfunction 2,170 kilometers. First malfunction 1,500 kilometers ago. I want to go out to the main page. I'm going to exit it. Exit. I'm going to go to More. Settings. English. I'm going to go from metric to US. I'm going to go back in where we were. Auto identification. I did that because it was showing Celsius and metric numerators. I want it all imperial, which is US. So we'll go back where we were. Pretty quick and easy. Not equipped, automatic. And I'm showing you this in real time. I'm not editing down the time. I'm going to show you the performance of the tool. Now it should be all in imperial style data. Freeze frame, view data. There we go. 1,348 miles. 932 miles since first malfunction. 1,348 since last malfunction. 6 ignition cycles since first. 32 since last. It was in closed loop. The engine was being loaded at 27%. The engine coolant temperature was 134, so it wasn't very hot. The short-term trims weren't bad. Fuel pressure sensor was happy. Engine speed 800 RPM, so it was idling. It sounds like a semi-cool idle. Still warming up. Timing 1.5 degrees. Intake air 104 degrees. Mass airflow 3.44 grams a second. Fuel rail pressure sensor. This is a high pressure sensor, 696 psi. Little scan tool gives you a lot of information. That's good to see. 65% fuel tank. 95 since DTC was cleared, so someone's been in here clearing codes before. That's why I like to look at this. We'll know if someone's been messing with it already. Alright, but now we got some good information. Fuel alcohol content, 10%. And what that does is that lets you know if you want to try to get that code to duplicate. If you do a repair and you want to verify it, you know those are the conditions. Start the engine and warm it up. Within a minute or two, it'll probably set the code if it's going to happen again. That's what it did this time, right? So that's where that information is super helpful. Clear DTC. Yep. Read DTC. No DTCs. Cool. Not bad for a little entry-level style tool that's pretty inexpensive. I mean, it's working well. It's pretty fast. I know one thing. I did see updates. Now it shows no codes in any of the modules it can talk to. I'm going to exit. I'm going to go back out to the main page. Updates. All right to the latest version. So the scan tool's up to date. Okay. Special functions. That's another cool thing. You can do ABS bleeding. If you're not sure if you have a spongy pedal after doing brake work or something, you can make the ABS module pump the solenoids inside to move air out, so it'll be easier to get it out the wheels. You can do a battery maintenance reset, steering angle reset, some diesel stuff, DPF, EGR relearn. Electronic parking brake, that's good if you're going to service cars that have the electric motor on the rear calipers to do parking brakes without cables. Maintenance light resets. We're going to do a maintenance light reset on this if we can. I don't think on a Chevy you really don't need to. Usually you can push the gas pedal 3 times, but let's see. Please wait. It's a 2018 Chevrolet Cruze. Please select VIN J. Yep. I'm going to shut this ignition switch on, engine off, ECU 1.6 automatic. Turn the ignition on, engine must be turned off. 1 key start models do not need to step on the brakes. Press and hold for 5 to 10 seconds. 1 key start, turn on the ignition switch. So I did that. The size is diminutive, but it looks well made. The moldings and the handles and all, pretty nice. It has a little bit of weight to it. It's not super light. Some scan tools I've looked at are just so light it feels like there's nothing inside them. Special functions, reset functions, engine oil life reset. Current value 12%. New value. Click to change the value. Input 100 I'm gonna go to. Boom. Okay, write successful. There it is. It's 99%, same thing as 100. So that's cool. That's not a bad thing either. This thing will reset your oil light for you. We'll try it on some other vehicles too. So we just check codes, cleared codes, reset the oil change reminder. So once I finish the oil change I'm also doing, I'll be able to see if the codes come right back, and we'll go further if it does. All right, on a little Chevy Cruze, my oil change is completed. So what I'm going to do is going to look at my idle percentage. The throttle body is what controls the idle speed on these cars. Every car is a little bit different, but on this one, the computer opens and closes the throttle valve to keep the engine idling where it wants. It'll be happy at 8 to 12% throttle opening. So we're going to look at the idle speed and the throttle percentage. If it's under 8%, it means it's trying to reduce the air coming in the engine. The idle's too high. And that usually happens if there's a vacuum leak. So that's what we're going to do next. Automatic detection, 2018 Cruze, ECM, not equipped, automatic transmission, intake airflow system performance current. I just cleared it and it came back already, so that's quick, nice and easy. Let's bring up some data and see what that looks like. Before I do that, I'm going to click on report. I can send this report to the front desk, put their email in, they'll have that information up there up front, so they can talk to the customer and know a little bit more about what's going on other than what I tell them with my mouth. It's in print, and print is way more valid than what I think. That's how people see it, at least. Some of these tools, after you save a report, you can send it an email right from that screen, and some of them you have to go out and go to Diagnostic Report, find the report that you just made, the most recent one I did, and now I can share by email from there. I wish that they would have this come up on the same page. You should say save and then share, but it doesn't do that. It's not a big deal. Just so you're aware, you go back out to the main page and you can send a report to your service advisors or to your wife if you need permission to go to AutoZone. I'm going to go back in. I know. And I'm going to bring up the data for the idle control, and we'll see what the throttle position is and all that. 20%, 8 to 12 is what we're looking for. Data PIDs are a little confusing. It lists 3 throttle position PIDs and then commanded throttle actuator. So this should be the throttle body. It's actually higher than I would expect. So probably what that means is the throttle body's dirty. So I would probably suggest in this car clean the throttle body as part of the testing. See if this number improves and it comes down a little bit. When you have a vacuum leak, it'll try to close the throttle body to reduce the engine speed, and when the throttle body's dirty, it'll be open too far, trying to increase it. I don't see any other problems in the data. Catalyst temperature, baro, distance since cleared. I just cleared the codes. I like to clear codes when I'm testing because leaving the code will sometimes make it do things a little differently because there's a code, so it's adapting for that. So if you clear the code, it comes right back, you don't have a lot of options. But if it stays away, at least for a little while, you can look and see what the fuel trims are without any codes. And we are in OBD2, not in manufacturer specific, because OBD2 seems to be a little bit more accurate. Sometimes you can get processed data when you're in manufacturer specific. You got to be careful. Like it'll make up a coolant temp if there's no temperature sensor plugged in. If someone left it off, it'll make one up, and you look on the data and it'll look like it's correct, but it's just guessing based on other sensors. So you have to be careful. OBD2, it doesn't do that. They're not allowed to manufacture data. It has to be accurate. So I like to look in OBD2. It's another option. Like things like mass airflow sensor. That's pretty good. This is a 1.8 liter. So at 500 RPM, a 1.8 liter should be at 1.8 grams a second. If the engine's not at 500 RPM, which this is, and it's about 750, expected to be 30 or 40% higher. That's why the 1.8 liter is at about 2.8 grams a second, because it's idling higher than 500 RPM. So there's a calculation to figure out exactly if you need to test the mass airflow, suspecting vacuum leaks and things like that as well. Got a little bit of a change, down to 16, 17, back and forth. Cool thing about this little tool, if you want to see a graphing data, you can just click on this little blue. If it's highlighted, it'll let you look at a graph for that data PID. And I like graphing data better than trying to catch something happening in this little numerator. I want to see the graph. much longer period of time, it's easier to catch little problems. So you can see this oxygen sensor is switching under and over 0.45. This is 1, this is 0. 0.45 is in the middle, and it's just switching under and over, which is good. That's what it's supposed to be doing. So that's all working correctly. Anything that has a blue data PID, you can see, or graph. That's a pretty cool feature. That'll come in handy if you got it. It's been running a little while. Let's see if we have a code coming back now. No DTCs, so this is good for a road test. We'll put this back together, take it for a drive, and verify throttle body cleaning, fix it or not. And we'll see what happens. If we'll go further if we need to. Let's get this D5S in the 2010 Ford Edge and see what's going on with this charging system. We should be able to find codes. We can definitely find charging system voltage and things like that. We can see what the computer's seeing with this tool. We will, however, need the ignition on first. We'll auto scan. Try to minimize the door chimes. That beep is from the tool. I mentioned that earlier. Ford USA or Ford European Union? USA! Edge. 3.5 liter 4-valve engine, 2010 model year. Automatic scan. Ooh, I have a PCM code and a restraint module code. Basically, if you have a problem with a battery being low or battery replaced and some things aren't relearned or reset, sometimes you can get codes from that too. So we'll let this run. We'll see what kind of codes we've got to look at. Parking aid, anti-lock, restraint, and PCM. Powertrain control module of transmission. So it's engine and transmission. Generator field terminal circuit low. Normally in my experience, that's the alternator's not sending out. There's 3 wires that go to the alternator, power, ground, and signal. And what happens is the computer controls the alternator. It sees a return on this code is for the return wire from the alternator that informs the computer what's going on with the charging system. And if that wire is not transmitting, then the PCM says, well, okay, wait a second, I can't control the alternator, and the alternator just runs on default. It'll charge, I believe it's 13.7 volts, and it won't vary its charging rate. Basically what they're doing is they can stop this thing from charging when the battery's full and you're going down the road. It'll intermittently turn the alternator off to save gas mileage. Once you get this light and this code, it's not doing that, and the alternator's defaulting to 13.7 volts, maintaining the battery so that you can finish your travels, holiday shopping, whatever the case may be. If we go into PCM, live data, I want to see some voltage PIDs, and we'll see if we can see that data PID for that part of the alternator as well. And we'll bring them up and we'll take a look. All right, I've found a voltage PID, a command of generator, fault of generator, fault indicator lamp. I've got my 4. I'm going to start it up. Oh, it's showing it's not charging at all right here. The maximum volts is 12, and it is flatlined. Now I put the headlights on to put a little load on it, see what happens with the voltage and all, and it's going right down. Okay, so this alternator's not charging. That is pretty easy right there, isn't it? Super handy use of the tool. All right, we got our new alternator on there. Everything is hooked up. We're going to turn our key on. We've got battery voltage. Boom. See that? 14 volts. I'm not sure if that shows up. Hope it does. GoPro's not really good up close. I've literally got you 3 inches from the screen. Oh, hey, come on now. There it is. So this alternator's charging good. My little Xtool D5S showing me everything I need to know. I'm going to go in here and make sure my codes are cleared. Please turn on the ignition switch, but clear the code when it is not started. Yes. Yes, I wish to continue. Successfully erased. It should have a P1000 in a Ford is normal. Continuous memory. P1000 just means it hasn't run the monitors yet. That's the P1000 we're expecting. This one's fixed. And the Xtool D5S helped. Okay guys, what are my final thoughts on the Xtool D5S? I think it's a great little tool. I had good success with it as far as doing diagnosis, special functions. We cleared codes. We did a full diagnosis start to finish with it. Matter of fact, we did a couple. What I'm going to do for you guys is I'll put a link in the description If you want to get one of these for yourself at a discount, check that out. I'm also going to give this tool away. I'm going to use it for 30 days in the shop, shoot some videos with it and all, and what we'll do is a giveaway in the middle of December or so, maybe closer to the end, like a little just before Christmas probably. And in the meantime, any video where I'm using the scan tool, you can comment that you're interested in it and I'll add you in the drawing. And then December 20th, I'm going to go ahead and pick somebody that's going to get this tool for free. I do want to use it in the shop a little bit more and show you more capabilities in the meantime. But if you want to get one for yourself now and you don't want to wait, try to win one, go ahead and check that link out in the description below. It's been a great little tool, like I said. It does come with a quick start guide too. If you find I omitted something in my video that might help you out, it's got plenty of instructions, online instructions besides my video. Also, it comes with a quick start guide as well. There's a barcode in here for the user manual and all kinds of things. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and more than anything, I hope I see you in the next one, because you're awesome.